you fixed this yet? You got this working right?
The what?
I thought you had some great opening with some reverb.
Liquidation, motivation. Yeah. Welcome to Liquidation Motivation, everyone. I am Esteban Nina of estacam.com. I offer free websites to anybody that wants one. Please visit estacam.com/free website. Just wanted to let everyone know that we are going to be in Vegas March 17th through the 19th. And we have a special link. Please click on the link here, or not click on it, but type the asdonline.com/reg-2026-18 just to let them know that you are part of the Liquidation Motivation crew. And the other thing is that I wanted you guys to see this link right here, liquidationmotivation.com/meetup. I have seen a few people sign up. Thank you for signing up to the meetup. We will let you know and notify you when we have something planned, what we have planned for the ASD event in Vegas. We're also going to do the same thing at WHSL in April. And we will talk to you a little bit more about that in the future. With no further ado, I am going to bring Thomas Schultz to the stage. Thomas Schultz.
Bang, bang. What's happening, Esteban? How you doing, buddy?
I'm a little sad because my New England Patriots lost the Super Bowl. But they made it, which is great. And they just lost.
Yeah, that was a heck of a game, though. You know, it was such a defensive stand there. It was crazy. I'm up for the first 3 quarters. I'm like, can any defensive play any better than this? You know, but I mean, look at field goal after field goal after field goal adds up after a little while. But it was fun to watch. I don't know about the halftime show. I mean, you speak Spanish,
and I didn't understand the word.
Yeah, I just didn't. You know, listen, I don't care. It looked like it was fun and good, but I just didn't understand anything on that. So I don't know what to say.
My buddy had a conversation before the game, and we said that it's gonna come down to whoever makes the first mistake. He felt like whoever scores first was gonna win. I said I think whoever makes the first mistake is gonna seal it for them. So that's what happened.
Toby Schultz says it's the most field goals in Super Bowl history. Why is Toby Schultz on here? He should be working right now, shouldn't he?
Oh, and there comes my daughter.
There's a daughter. All right, so listen, we are going. We have. I am going to Vegas. I'm going to Vegas on Sunday. Here, let me. I'm going to Vegas on Sunday to the new Evolve trade show. I mean, that's a trade show that I think this is the first year of, and I was just told about it a couple of weeks ago. So we booked our tickets, booked our hotels, and we're going to go check out the Evolve trade show. I forget one of the big guys, one of the big liquidators in the business, one of the big companies in the business is hosting this trade show, and we'll see what happens out of it, right? So I'm going to head out to Vegas. I'm going to see who we can meet out there, see if there's any new contacts we can meet. And, you know, I mean, if I've said it a million times, I haven't said it enough. You got to go to every show you can because it's all about networking. It's all about networking. And today on our show, I think that we have a master networker. I'm telling you, I've never seen anybody work so hard at networking. And so let's bring to the stage here, Yana. Yana, welcome to the Liquidation Motivation Show.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for having me today, guys. Nice to see you again, as always.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah. I got to say, Yana, I don't think anybody works as hard as you in the industry. You know, I go to the show and I walk up to say hi. You're like, I need 1 more minute with this guy, and I come see you. I'm like, okay, hey, I don't want to intrude. You're always hustling the deals, man. Always hustling the business. And I love that about you. I love that. And
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for the compliment. But I hope you actually, we're on the same page about that, and you understand that, yeah, because you have like very limited amount of time. You want to actually, I don't know if it's right to say, but you want to probably squeeze it out everything out of every single minute. You don't want to miss any of the contact, any of the information. You're trying to do as much as you can, technically, right?
absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
yeah.
And I see you at every trade show. And, so all these other people in the industry, now I want to get back to your beginnings before we
Yeah.
get started, but
Sure.
But, I see all these people in the industry that are like, oh, I have a soccer game I got to go to, and so I can't go to Vegas, or I have this to do and I can't go to, and I'm like, just like, every time you miss one of these trips, you're missing out on possibly meeting 20 to 30 more people, and maybe finding that one person that can change your business or add another revenue stream to it. And you have kind of mastered that. Which I'm super impressed with you. I would say you're the hardest worker in this industry, the hardest worker.
Thank you. Oh my God, really. You're making me blush a little bit. Hopefully not too much. Yeah. Because again, I'm actually 100% agreed with you, and I think that networking events, like all sort of networking, it just like really is really helpful in our industry. Because exactly, like, you never know who you're gonna meet, and you never know how these kind of like contacts will end up in your life in a while. Sometimes when you just meet new people, that's a new people, short amount of time. You don't know, actually, not always something might actually work out right away, but you met them, you kind of like building up your base, you're building up these contacts, and yeah, one day, I'm calling that you're planting the seeds, and then the harvesting starts later. So that's
Absolutely.
how I
No,
actually
100%.
Yeah.
I love it. All right. So let's go back to the beginning. What were you doing? What were you doing before liquidation? What was Yana's
Actually,
occupation
the
before
story,
liquidation?
the story. How back do we want to? how much time back we want to go back? Yeah.
Let's go all the way back.
All the way back.
Tell us your story.
No, my story, like, okay, let's talk about the professional background. So I've spent a lot of years in the logistics, and my husband and we've been operating the transportation company. Again, first we both worked for the companies, we got some experience, and then we kind of like naturally already came up to decision that yes, we are ready to do that step. We want to open up our own company, and that's what we did. However, something always changing in our lives, right? We became a parents, and that kind of like started to like change our focuses, and we started to think, we started actually to feel that maybe that's not exactly the that thing where we wanna grow. And we started actually to do the researches, yes, and we started to look through the marketplaces and things like that. My husband, he actually started already buying little by little some like pallets and sell them on eBay. So pretty much the introduction to the liquidation started from the eBay sales. So after selling for a while on eBay, we actually figure out through the friend of our friend about these kind of business model. None of us like heard of the bargain stores or any sort of things like that before, and it's actually, even that time, we've been having already a lot of I cannot say exactly how many bin stores were open at that time in Chicagoland area. However, there were already in here, right? And we just like never heard of this, and that guy actually who we met through the eBay, he actually been even out of Indiana. And he owned the commercial building, and one of the guys opened up the bin store on that plaza. And he just like started to tell about this bin store, and like, what is that? That's interesting. Like, how does it look like? So my husband went to visit him there in Indiana, looked at this model, and it seemed to be like interesting, and we wanted to try. Plus, that already was a time when we were supposed to reassign the lease for the warehouse, which we've been renting at that time for the eBay, or we just like had to like find a different warehouse or store if we already want to try. So we did that step. So we signed the lease for the store, and back in 2021, we founded the Best Bargain Bin. So that's how that all started.
2021 is when you got into the bin store
2021,
business.
yes,
So
2021.
5 years ago. Hey, what about now? You're not born in America.
No, I was not born in America.
Tell me about that journey. Tell me.
Okay, I'll tell you about the journey, and just because I'm from the military family, I was and my father was like transferred a few times. I was born in the Middle Asia in Turkmenistan. Then after USSR collapsed, my father was transferred to Ukraine. That's where he was originally from. So I grew up in Ukraine, but we just like were changing the locations a couple of times. And the last location before I got here, that was a very beautiful city right next to the Black Sea. I'm sure you all heard of that. That's named the name of it is Odessa. Very beautiful city, which is struggling, unfortunately, right now, same as the other cities in Ukraine. But yeah, that's where I came from. And that happened, that happened almost 16 years ago. Yeah. So that's exactly when I came here to United States. I came as a student. I just came right after graduation, and I actually seen that as an opportunity for myself to do the evaluation, to keep studying in here, and kind of like move towards that direction. However, it's like not always our expectations work in reality. Right? Because again, that was my first experience, like traveling over the seas, so far away, and being absolutely by myself, so that's kind of been challenging. Yes, that's what I can easily say.
Did you meet your husband here in the States?
Here, yeah. I've met him actually right next year after I got here. He's also from Ukraine. You see, surprisingly, you never know where you're gonna find your half. Sometimes you see you need to travel that far away, right? So that's exactly what happened to us. Yeah, and since then we've been together. Yeah. And you see, first it kind of like a layer by layer. First we became like partners for life, right? Then we kind of like became a business partners, and that's actually another chapter for us. Yeah. Very interesting chapter too. It's kind of like interesting to move actually forward and grow together, and seeing your partner in a different role, for yourself. So yeah,
Right.
motivate each other, yeah, and help each other, with everything what you go through. Yeah. So kind of like that.
Yeah. So I'm on a mission right now to bring my family into my business. So what advice would you give me? So you work with your husband,
Yeah.
What advice would you give me for working with, bringing your family together in your business?
I was actually expecting this question, 100% can tell you. I just thought that you're going to ask me, how is that for you to work with your husband? And I'm going to say that very, very good, really, very good. And that's just because the responsibilities are split. And this is actually the best way to do because again, I also have a friends who brought the whole family into the business, and everything is split, and everyone has their own piece of responsibilities. They are doing like their own thing, so they are focused, and that's mean that you're gonna be in this particular narrow section. Let's call it like that. Yeah. You're gonna get a best results because one person is focused on that, and they are not actually crossing each other, yeah, and not kind of like trying to set up their like own rules. If I'm like doing this, I'm just like trying to go deep, like experience that, try to find like some information, do some research. So, but I'm actually responsible for that part. And but it doesn't mean that we're not discussing or making up the decisions together. We are, but you know, each of us did their like, let's say, homework, yeah, and brought already some like piece of information, like, so let's discuss. That's what I found out. So let's discuss what we're gonna do with that. So that's kind of most likely that's kind of like how it goes.
Yeah, yeah, you know, and I think like when you have two people that are working for a common goal, so you could have easily ran it yourself and hired a manager, but that manager doesn't have the same, you know, the same ambition as an owner does, right? Because our, you know, our goal is to just create more wealth, right? To just to make our life better for our family, our kids, and everybody. And when you have two people focused on building that empire, you know, I do think that, you know, that puts you at such a huge advantage. Such a huge advantage, because you know an hourly employee is not going to act the same as your husband, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
100%. And we actually experienced that thing as well, because the more we grew, the bigger the team was becoming, right? And we had actually very nice workers as a part of our team, which really wanted to try, and we were giving them that opportunity. The thing is, like, in reality, most likely, the good worker doesn't mean the good manager. And what's actually differentiate that person, that's actually vision, that's thinking it ahead of time, like that's the ability to build it up, the plan for the whole team and manage that team. You know, this is not an easy thing to do. And actually, yeah, not every our try was successful before we got the good manager, you know, because that's a person which you can count on, and which you can definitely rely on. And this is kind of like, I don't know, like your right hand, you know, or left hand, because the amount of work is it's huge amount of, like, not maybe even like a physical work, but amount of the areas which needs to be touched through when we are actually in the liquidation. It's a lot. You have to think about, okay, planning, logistics, what are we gonna do, how we gonna do if like this plan happens or not gonna happen, like, so what's gonna be the backup plan? And you have to and you need to have like so many things planned in ahead. You actually have so many thoughts that you need sometimes that person who you can rely on. And again, not going to be probably surprise for anyone, right? We also like human beings, right? We also getting burned out sometimes, like when it's like when it seems like you know, you kind of like running as a squirrel sometimes, like really is. You also need to learn how to balance in this industry. You also need to actually give yourself time to step a little bit out for you to think about potential strategies for the future plans and things like that. And you know what, I actually just a little while ago at the in New York on a reverse logistics meetup, I was talking to one gentleman, and he's also like managing the big company, and he said like, I just need to have a time even to think, because I'm sometimes like so much involved into all this like inner processes that I don't even have like time to think, because it's like all my time is taking with all these things. So yeah, another thing actually also I want to say, for you to find out and like do the setup on all this like operation processes as quick as possible, that you can have that time to think and think towards the expanding, think about like, okay, what's the potential plans for growth for us, so these kind of things. So
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. I love it. I love it. I mean, I always think about like I was I don't know when I was scammed out of $26,000 load last month by a guy in Nebraska, and going to my manager and explaining it to her, and and she shows empathy, but she doesn't take any of that loss. She still makes her $1,000 a week or whatever she gets paid. It's like
I know.
For a husband and wife to both feel the pain and the rewards together, I'm certainly envious of you. And my goal right now, my wife actually just quit her job, but she put in a 6-month notice.
Really?
She's pretty valuable at her job, so they want her there for another 6 months before she leaves. But I'm hoping that she can like feel that with me, the rewards, the bad stuff and the good stuff. So I'm super excited about her joining my business. And you have that already. I love it. I love it.
No, guys, I'm sure you're gonna work out together well, because I had a chance to meet your wife. She's a lovely person, and since she has such a big experience in a corporate world, I'm positive that she has that good vision and understanding of like structure. So I'm sure she's going to be like a great addition, and both of you can even like succeed even more. I'm positive, really, I am.
And that's probably what I need most, is just organization. I'm just kind of throw everything against the wall, and hopefully we make more money than we lost this week. So yeah. I hope she comes in like, no, this is the system we need to use. You need to be organized.
You know what, I feel you, because we are kind of like, we have something similar. And what I mean by that, we are kind of like people who are actually getting excited right away. Okay, let's do that. But we really need to have someone right next to us who's definitely going to share this journey right with us, and definitely going to help us out, kind of like all these like chaotic ideas to manage in a beautiful like flow, right? And my husband, I actually really want to, when I actually do the huge compliment to him about this, he can do that naturally. He is actually very, very structured person. I don't know, like really, he has a talent to how to manage the team, how to create that all flow, how to do all this organization. So he's actually excellent with that. So yeah. And you see, one more thing about like the family business. Each of us is unique, right? And each of us has definitely our strengths, right? And each of us brings something unique to this big family business, right? So when we are focusing on this stronger parts of us, which we brought all together, it definitely, like pieces of like a huge puzzle. They're kind of like coming up together, and makes the whole picture like more visually more understandable and beautiful at the end. That you can all definitely be happy with the result, what you achieved.
Yeah. I do got to give, before we go to the next subject, I do want to say my wife has had a corporate job her whole life. She's always made a lot of good money, 100 grand a year or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was able to build my business because she brought that structure to my life. She had the health insurance. She had good money. She made good money, and then, so when I went through my roller coaster ride of trying to build my business, we always had that income coming in, but fortunately now that my business has grown larger than her business, she's able to make that transition. So it's been, she's been working 20 years at a corporate job, and now she finally gets to leave the job, which comes with a lot of corporate jobs come with a lot of stress, and she gets stressed at her job. And so I'm super excited to give her, for the last, I don't even know how much, for the last 10 or 15 years of working of her life, that she can just kind of do whatever she wants. I mean, we still got a business to run, but she can manage it at her own pace and not have to worry about, the 6 subordinates that are below her that she has to be held accountable to. So
Yeah.
I'm super fortunate to have a wife that's done that. And I recommend, I say that to all these people. I have a lot of employees here that have wives with full-time jobs in insurance. I'm like, this is your opportunity to get to the next level. Stop working for me for an hourly rate and go out there and try to prove yourself. If you think you're a good worker, if you're willing to work hard, prove yourself. And fortunately for me, it's worked out fantastic. And now she can leave her job and for the next 15 or 10, I don't even know how long, she can just dabble with me and try to help me build
100%. At least she knows how to handle the stress.
Yes.
So and liquidation, it's like not the easiest thing to do sometimes, and there are a lot of stress. So yeah, she knows how to handle that. So you're in a good hands, and I'm sure you already mastered that through the years as well, because you have such a great big experience, and you are like, besides of the liquidation, if I'm not wrong, you have like other businesses, and you are already kind of like entrepreneur with a huge years of experience, like, which is also helpful. You see, we're all improving ourselves and sides of us, like, through all these experiences, and it's definitely all just like helpful for us at the end. So yeah,
absolutely. Yeah.
So
let me go. Sure. What they talk about, like, the immigrant work ethic.
Yeah.
What do you think that growing up in Ukraine, how do you think that affects how you work compared to, I want to say, a lot of, Americans work? How do you think that your upbringing has affected your work ethic?
No, again, we are a little bit, of course, the mentality is like very different, right? We have to understand Eastern European and American mentality, they are different. I'm not saying that they're like absolutely different, but you're gonna find that difference. And
you can say what you want to say here. It's okay.
No, I know. It just like, I'm just like trying to, also like think about how it's better to express the idea what I have in mind. Here's the thing. Let's be honest. We are coming already. We were not born in here, right? We are not actually fluent sometimes in a language. We are not fluent in a lot of things. This is a whole totally different world for us. And believe or not, when I got here, I just like, seriously, I got to the 0 point, and that's how I felt. It was not only like the life challenge for me, it was like the whole mental challenge for me, because all achievements which I had, they are actually stayed back home, right? And they don't really like matter in here. And the number one thing what we actually no, again, it naturally happens to us, right? We have to get stable in here, right? We have to just like kind of like start our life from the scratch, build it up the totally different, like, new life. And it definitely helps us to get more tough, right? So that's I'm sorry, I just like have to apologize. Okay, I just need to turn off this device, like, guys.
Okay.
Sorry, 1 second.
We all have distractions in our lives, right, Esteban?
Yeah, like, sorry again, I apologize.
It's all right. You can snap your fingers. You can snap your fingers, and Esteban comes on the stream. Look at that.
Oh, there you go. Of course. Yeah. I just like didn't want to like my vacuum cleaner like definitely make that noise. Anyway, so what I was gonna say, so we already need to start from the scratch, and we need to work a little bit harder, right? And we have to, and we are going through a lot of different processes in here, not only like learning a language. We're actually, again, we're in a totally different world, and of course it makes us stronger. 100% makes us stronger. We are working harder because we need to, even for the same, like, let's say if it would be like the same type of work what we do compared to Americans, right? We have to definitely do it like twice harder, because again, we need to get that spot under the sun, right? Also,
Right.
We are all smart, we're all talented, all of us, right? I want to say that just because, again, when you are coming here as a fresh person, it's changing you because your brain starts working differently. You just need to find the solutions, resolutions, like you're doing this like all the time consistently. And of course that trains your brain. And even if we will be talking about the physiology of our body, right, we are building up new neural networks, right, in here, which definitely helps us make a different decisions, uh, achieve different goals. And that's why maybe I see a lot of Eastern Europeans in here, which are coming and moving in here. They're actually looking at this as the opportunity, and they want to actually use this opportunity in the best possible way. So if someone open up the business, why I cannot open the business up? Of course, maybe again, here's the thing: just because we are like hard workers, we're becoming hard workers through this whole process. Maybe sometimes we are actually acting same way to other people, which is, no, again, we're maybe just like asking for a little more than's possible. However, this is a very good like the thing what you need to do. You have to just, and again, as what I told you about, like what is the strongest part of the person, let's focus on that, and let's put this person there where it's going to be the best fit. So yeah, so this is actually kind of things which you have to, and you have to understand, not everyone is the same. Not everyone is same like you, right? They're like, everyone is like, they're all nice people, those people who work for us, right? They're all nice people. But again, you need to, as a owner, you have to understand like which direction you have to guide this person. So, and again, like we were able to build it up, such a good team. And like luckily, yeah, again, first couple of years, that was like very common story, come and go. But again, that was hard to understand actually. Even the attitude of people, they are looking for the job, they are asking for the job. When you already saying, yes, let's try, let's do that, come over, let's join our team, and they already went through the interview process and all these kind of things, they're like, they might just like disappear. And you don't know that, you don't understand that. You know what, in my head, and this is actually also about the work ethic, in my head, I kind of like can understand, like, if you have and I understand the life is very, very like unpredictable. If anything changed, like here we are, right? We're just like human beings, let's just like keep each other posted, and that's it. And let's move forward. If it didn't work for you, if you found something better, I'm just like going to be happy for you. And that's it. And no hard feelings. We will just like wish each other the good luck and we will move forward. But it doesn't happen sometimes. And that's what I don't understand. And this is actually another thing about the work ethic. And I don't think that I'm asking for too much. And this is actually another, when we discuss the part like that sometimes we might ask a little bit more than we can expect from some of our workers, right? But this thing, I think this is just like, that's the base. If we don't know how to communicate on such an easy level, at such a beginner level, so how we gonna be solving a little bit more complex things, and more complex, like how we gonna be reaching out the goals. So again, be on the same page, just like, yeah, and keep each other informed, of course. And how I'm saying, like, that's kind of like relationships we build it up with our team. And any of the situation, what happened, we are discussing together, like how can we, okay, what happened, how that happened, how we could do that differently to prevent that happening in the future, and definitely help us out to spend more time on something what could be done quicker and easier, so again, that's another way of growing for the company too. So kind of like all these little like things which helps us overall to get those results which we want, which we expect, right? Which we work for, because this is actually the big mechanism. That is like not even mechanism, that's an organism. And I'm telling always our when we are discussing like all things with the team, we're saying like, guys, we're just like we're part of this chain. We're part of this chain. Like, and we actually, if we want this like keep going and growing and moving, it's kind of like if there is an issue with the one section, then the rest actually goes already the wrong direction. So we need to keep that smooth. We need to actually keep that working, because overall that's what we actually that's why we are here for, to grow something big and nice and take advantage of that, right? Because what can we provide from our side, of course, as the employees? Good relationships, like of course we're creating these work spots. And this is actually another level of responsibility, because when you're a small company, when you start again from garage and selling for yourself, that's two of you, that's a one story. But when you're growing, you understand that right now these many people and these many families, they depend on us. So we need to make sure that we actually do everything to feel them also confident about where they at. So, and provide them that working environment where they feel comfortable, and they have that ability to grow within the company as well, So
Right.
That's my thoughts. That's our thoughts.
Excellent insight.
That's a reality. That's what we actually experienced in a practice, because again, we were seriously, we were like amateurs, which were figuring everything out on the go. There was 100% when we were starting. I'm telling you, like, there was a lack of experience, and we didn't know a lot of things what we know right now. And we didn't have anyone right next to us to guide us and tell what to do. That guy who opened up the store in a different state, and which we looked at very first time, it was just like the guy. He wasn't anyone to us. He wasn't our friend. He didn't really tell us anything. So, and again, you have to, this is actually consistent work, what you have to do all the time. And you are, again, within the years, of course, you are kind of like, again, layer by layer, you are like opening this everything up, and you are like mastering some things like better and better. And still, like, even right now, I can say like we are learning something like all the time, really. It never stops. Like,
yeah. No, I agree with that. 100%. It never ends. The learning never ends. And like, people say, oh, well, you're an expert at this. I'm like, even during these interviews, I learned so much from everybody I talked to, and how there's 1,000 ways to make money at liquidation, and everybody has their own little niche and how they do things. And, it's just incredible. Facebook Lives or TikTok shops, or, there's just a million ways, and everybody's kind of got to figure out what works for them, what works in their niche, but so 2021, you open your bin store. Yeah. So talk to me. Tell me about your bin store.
I'll tell you. And again, this is actually the story about expectation vs reality. Why I'm saying that, it's just because the idea of the bin store, which we actually had on mind and which we wanted to open, didn't happen to us right away. So because at that time, again, we didn't have that many connections. We had only one guy, and I'm like one guy, I mean like the supplier. We only knew one supplier who actually had some certain loads. Those were JCPenney loads, and they are good loads. And that's what we actually decided to try, because that was like reasonable for us at that moment. But the only one thing, it actually had a very big amount of clothing. At the same time, we actually decided, okay, the area where we're actually outside of Chicago. We are suburb of Chicago, but we are that suburb which is like closer. We're towards Wisconsin, so we're right like 50 miles away from Wisconsin, which is not bad as well from one side. So just because we were understanding that there are no other even like clothing shops or big malls in the area within like what 15-20 miles radius, so like it's not bad even to start with this. Like those loads, they had a percentage of the household products too, but that was very, very little. So mostly what we had, a lot of shoes, a lot of clothing, and very minimal household section. That's how we started. And if you would take a look, and actually there are a lot of pictures on a public media about like how we looked at the beginning and how we look right now. That's actually two different stories. Within a year, we did the transition towards the bins, and only within a year, we were able already to do what we have right now. And again, little by little, we were getting rid of the clothing racks, and it was like
so you were doing retail.
We started, so we actually
Okay.
So we started to kind of like still keep some sections with the clothing as well. We also were understanding that our vision, how we thought, didn't work out in a reality, because people, they are looking for variety. They are looking for different products. And if we're talking, if we wanna actually have the variety for every single customer, for every audience, we need to actually have a wider selection of different products. And that's when we are talking about not only household products, right? We're talking about tools, automotives, techie things, stuff like that. So and we started actually work towards that way. But again, this year been very, very challenging and not easy at all, because again, I'm meeting right now some people who are selling and who are opening up the stores and selling same way how we did. We also had a falling price for the clothing. The first item was like $8, second $7, and third and after $6. But again, for a second, that's a Jessie Penney stuff. There already the retail value is like much, much higher. We had like all this like very well-known brands. We had like the higher end brands. It like very beautiful gowns, very beautiful outwear, all cool stuff, really all cool stuff. But believe or not, it didn't sell well. I'm telling you honestly right now, and again, maybe that gonna be helpful for someone who's gonna hear us, not maybe to get super upset and make a decision to close it out. Just like think and look at that, what other steps you can do, what kind of decisions gonna help you to actually still grow, right? Because we were very, very close to even like close the business. We were that close, really. So but again, this is another issue coming up, to find the good supplier. And this is actually the key thing, and that's a second key. First key, that's your team and who's actually walking with you through this journey. Second thing, that's actually inventory and like merchandise. And I did a lot of research. But again, you never know who you're gonna find in this industry, right? And how you just like mentioned a little while ago that you got scammed for $26. Like we got scammed same way. Our first Amazon load was like, get ready, that was a like probably 85% expired food. 85% expired food. That's disaster. I would understand if like, and even right now, I feel your frustration, really. It's even right now when your business a little more stable, that's that's for a second $20,000+, right? So it's not a actually, it's a big money, right? Especially when you are beginner, especially when you're only like investing and reinvesting, investing and reinvesting again and again. That actually matters for you. So that's another thing which hit us, and that's what I mentioned, like that we were that close for closing out the business. But again, through the researches, I found I was looking at the market overall, and don't get me wrong, and it's kind of like gonna be disclaimer. So everything what I'm gonna be talking about, that's our practical experience, right? And all bargains are different. And again, I'm not, I don't have anything personal to anyone, but like that time, and that was already after the COVID, right? When we opened up, that was right after the COVID. The market changed a lot as well, and only what we were hearing around, that's like some dream loads from Amazon, which are like super cool. They are like loaded like with the electronics. They cost this little and they have like such a great fantastic value. We already haven't seen them. And if we did, they already were like cherry picked, and they were like overpriced. And here is a question. So like, and where is my margin then? If they already, you still cannot like make those like good sales yet, plus this like what you're investing, it's like eating out your margin as well. So it kind of like was really tough. But I'm telling you, like I always had a feeling that it's kind of like hype around this like loads. And I'm like, okay, what else? Like, not only these Amazon loads, like, and how I'm saying, like, we didn't have a success every time we were trying the Amazon. What's most important for us at the end of the week? That's actually our profit, right? That's not a how big was your line, right? That's not how many people like you visited your store. That's in the end, like, that's the numbers. And if we are talking about the numbers, we were comparing all the time, like our profit was like lower, always much lower with the Amazon loads. I don't know why actually, but maybe that's the area too. But we are kind of like in between. We are like, we're in between of like Hispanic and white American communities. So we're kind of like in the middle. We're 10 minutes from here, we're 10 minutes from there, so kind of like seems to be perfect, right? Like you're right in between, you're right in that heart, but not everything in reality works how you expect. And then we actually started to, since I'm saying, like I was doing a lot of research, and I was like moving towards the target loads, and I was looking at them, and I was like, again, looking for the programs, what kind of things, and I found the supplier who was actually who was a contract holder, and he actually, we started, that was like such an interesting story, really. I was looking for, again, Amazon loads, right? And I was calling the companies, and I'm like, and that was Friday, by the way. And I was talking to this company before, and they redirected me. They said like, yeah, we're not selling Amazon, but we will redirect you. And they really sent me the information for the company who was selling the Amazon loads. And then I worked with them after as well. However, I don't remember why, but I actually wanted to find out. I wanted to ask some questions one more time, and I'm calling that company, and that was Friday, and the gentleman is picking up the phone, and he's like, and we started talking, and at the end, that was the owner of the company, and he was like, and I'm telling you that that was like, I was impressed because, first of all, he seemed so natural, and he's like, yeah, I'm sitting right here, everyone is out, and I'm just like, and I'm the only one who's left, and I'm like, and the phone is ringing, and I picked up the phone. So we started talking with him. He actually started to ask me some questions. He actually started to tell me more about the target programs, and again, compared to Amazon at that time, that was like more affordable for us. That's how we felt. But at the end, I think when we got our first load, we've the value was like insane for us at that time. And that was the moment when we finally made great sales. And that's when we like, we told to each other with my husband, like, so yeah, we probably still can stay in this field and still can try to see what's going to happen at the end, right? So that's why I'm saying, like, inventory, that's a key. As soon as you found the good supplier, you're actually, you already, like, that's a challenge for you. That's a challenge for you. And you can finally breathe out a little bit, because that's a pressure. Because with these Amazon like loads, that's another pressure. Because again, already you have that kind of like fear. What if it's going to happen again, this like expired food? What am I going to do again? That's again like big investment. We are again trying to make some money to pay out like and reinvest. So it kind of like was like that. So and that was already a year after. So I want to say from 2022, we started to see some changes and growth. Again, first, of course, was like our finally to get to the model how it is. But anyway, we didn't do only bins. We are kind of like a hybrid. We still have like the retail section. And again, you know, I want to say one thing about the bin stores. Not everyone gets the idea of the bin store shopping, right? And this is 100% not classic version of like shopping, and that's why when they see probably this products on a shelves, that maybe actually makes them feel that it's like more classic version of shopping. So it's kind of like also more common thing for some group of people. And plus, again, more complex items, more bigger size items, you are not going to put them in a bin. So we actually saw that reasonable to keep like all over the perimeter the section with the premium items. And that's how we still operate until today. And I want to say, sometimes someone come for the some like premium items, like VIP. Yeah, someone comes for VIP, and they kind of like starting to get into the bin things as well. And they're, oh, okay, you still can get a good stuff in here too. Plus, we have an open box station where you can open up every single box. Our team is there to help you out. You can test everything out. You can plug it in. You can do everything what you feel that you need to do to leave like with a confidence from this shopping. You know, this is actually a different shopping experience. That's why we're trying to make it as comfortable as possible for people to feel that it's not a kind of like hit or miss, right? That I'm not actually paying $10 for something what might not even work, right? So we kind of like trying to, again, kind of like get rid of that idea and make them feel comfortable like with all this a little bit unique and unusual shopping environment, you know?
Right. Right. Nice. Yeah. I'm hearing it more and more that a lot of bin stores are going to the Target model, just because, you know, Amazon is so competitive out there and so hard to deal with. And I mean, not hard to deal with, but, you know, it's like a roller coaster ride of when you're going to get your loads, and, you know, Target being more readily available. So no, that's smart.
Yeah.
I mean, I know there's a huge bin store here in Orlando that they start at $20 a day, but I think they put even the big stuff in their bins. And, you know, if it's the bicycles and it's $20, I mean, I understand. I get both sides to that, but yeah, Target definitely seems like the way, you know, that a lot of people are going.
And also one more thing, colorful boxes, they sell themselves.
Yeah,
they do. And again, and that's why I was like telling you, even like after already, when we still were trying to bring like sometimes the Amazon loads, we were seeing again, what's the profit after like only Target week? What's the profit after only Amazon week? What's the profit even if when we are mixing them up? And I'm telling you, like, seriously, the best profit when we, and again, that's our experience. It doesn't mean that it's gonna 100% work for your store and in your case, but who knows, maybe it might. If you're like struggling with getting the good Amazon loads, if you don't have that good supplier, if you don't have that like first first contact, yeah, like the contract holder, where you can definitely get the best deal from, then guys, like really, sometimes it might be just like waste of time and money. So don't waste your time, don't waste your time money. There is always like just look a little bit wider, because there is always different solutions. The resolution, it definitely is going to be there. You just need to try different things and see what's going to work out for you, and again, even like with the customers, because more actually things you are noticing when they are showing you like, look what I found. Seriously, when we are checking out together like what they found, and especially about like that's in a cases like when the Amazon products are there, there were some items which like are $800 retail value, $1,000 retail value, some like crazy automotive parts, like some very complicated mechanisms for like the loads. I remember that like very clearly, because it was like very rare piece, but the guy knew what he actually wasn't that thing, and he knew what is that. It was like sitting in a cardboard plain box. I'm telling you, that's why the chance for you to sell that for the higher dollar amount is a little bit lower. And again, don't get me wrong. And again, I told you at the beginning, disclaimer, guys, right? Because there are a lot of companies, even your company, I know you are doing a lot of Amazon. I know that it works for you. But again, I'm just like sharing my experience, like practical experience, what worked in our case. And that's what it is, and that's how you see, that's how it worked out, So again, never know. You never know.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I don't know. The saying I think is there's 100 ways to skin a cat. So you're right. I just love the liquidation business, and I touched on it earlier that there's so many different ways to do it. So many ways to make money in this business. Now, once you get in and once you dedicate yourself to it, like you have, Yana, then I just think that, I mean, nobody works harder than you. Nobody, I see you at every show talking to everybody. Even late at night, you're still negotiating. I don't even know what you're negotiating because I see you talking, and I can tell you're talking business, But yeah, if you're willing to work hard in this business, there's a million ways to make money, and you're going to find your niche, because you have to find a new niche, because all the old niches, everybody's already bought out, right?
Yeah.
They're already bought up, and
and you know what? I can actually open up the secret. What I'm still like talking about late evening. You know what? My first experience at the ASD, and again, we didn't know about the ASD when we were starting. So a lot of things work different at that time. We didn't have that like group yet, which are like we'll have right now, where we can like share with experience who's actually legit, who's not, right? We didn't have like that many connections like that time. And about ASD, we found out again like through someone, right? My first experience like at the ASD, you have like you are seeing so many people out of your industry. And you can actually get the answers on a lot of questions which were bothering you. And that's what I still do. And this is a practical experience. This is like from the people who run this business day by day, all the time. And I remember all the areas which we felt were a little bit weak. I was going over like every this segment with everyone who I've met that time. And you know what? And after that, I felt such a like even energy boost, and I came back with more confident, 100%. Why? Because I got answers on some of the questions which were bothering us. Because like, guys, I'm positive all of you are questioning yourself about like, what am I doing wrong? Why it doesn't work how I want? Why we are still not there where we are planning to be at? And there are some areas which definitely they're out of your control, 100%. What I'm talking about right now, that's a seasonality, right? And at that time, believe it or not, we didn't know about like that, these kind of like have that change, seasonal change. And when we started to notice like, hold on, what's going on? Then when you're talking to more people and you understand, oh, that happens to everyone, you stop actually torturing yourself with all these questions, which are definitely eating out a lot of your energy. That's a mental pressure. Like I'm sure some of you gonna agree with me that it's a mental pressure on you, and you are less focused on the things which you need to be focused on, to move forward. So, and still, even how I'm saying, and even still now, I'm like asking how this kind of thing works in your case. Different people from different states, and swear to God, even the Chicagoland area where we are at, right? I have a friends who are operating the stores in a city, and whatever works for them doesn't work for us, and vice versa. And that's another actually sign of how different we are, and how things might turn out for each of us. And the more actually people you will reach out to with these questions, the more potential answers to these questions you're gonna have. And believe me, if you talk to 50, 100 people, there are going to be 100 of answers, and you already kind of like coming a little bit down. Okay, that's a seasonal thing. That's okay. That's going to change, and that's okay. But that's a normal thing which happens like naturally all the time to everyone. So nothing is wrong with me. I'm good. That's the main thing. What you have to actually live with, like, and operate this business. Like, I'm good. There are some like stuff. Of course, I'm working. I'm moving. I'm not sitting. I'm like all the time, like trying to do something what's gonna improve my business. So I'm good. We're not. We are there where we need to be at. It's just like that's a time. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, touching back on the trade shows, I feel like, I feel like you get in your business and you're in your own warehouse and you're in your own store, and you just have these blinders on, and then you go to these trade shows and you come back with all these great ideas of how to advance your business, how to make them better.
Yeah.
It's funny. When you met my wife in Vegas.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think my wife thinks like we're at, strip clubs and nightclubs and partying, and I'm like, honey, we work the whole time. It's nothing but trade show, meetup, networking event, and and then we might get an hour, in old Vegas to hang out, right?
That's exactly how the first experience was. I'm telling you, the first night there was like 3 meetups with a little break in between. Seriously, we were everywhere. I'm telling you, I was everywhere. And I'm suggesting, if you have that chance, you're already there. Don't miss any opportunity. If there is any meetup, go there. You don't know who you're gonna meet there. So do that really. And yeah, seriously, I had the same thoughts before. I thought that people were only having fun in Vegas until I attended the first ASD, and it was like back in 2023. But yeah, then I understood, okay, there are a lot of expos happening in here, a lot of conferences, a lot of business people are meeting up for having this like business meetups, a lot of things going on in here. And yeah, and all these things for us to grow. But again, it depends on the person. Sometimes opportunity might be there. I don't know, like someone sees the opportunity, someone is not. But guys, it's there.
If you're willing to grab it, it's there to grab.
Yeah,
it's there to grab.
Of course, don't say no. Don't say no to anything, especially in this. Listen to that. Maybe there is something for you. If it's already came across your way, and I really believe in these things. Nothing happens without the reason. And all this, like when we are looking towards some direction, I think the universe feels feels us, and hears our decisions, and hear like where we want to move to. So that's why the universe sending us these people. And that's not the only, and the story what I actually told you about, like the first supplier who we still work with till today, that's not the only one story. I had like more stories like also happening like that, when like right people were actually coming at the right moment. And that's it. You just need to see that and work with that out, and that's it.
I always say I want to meet every trade show. I want to meet one person that's going to, and I used to say change my life, but since I've met so many of those people, now I want to meet one more person that I can add, that I buy all their loads, I make money, it's an additional source of revenue. And I try to do that at every trade show. And so when people, go to ASD and then they're like, oh yeah, tomorrow we're going on a tour of the Grand Canyon. I'm like, I'm going to be out there meeting more people. Yana's going to be out there meeting more people while you're in the Grand Canyon. You should, if you're anybody out there who hasn't been to ASD, keep the tourist stuff for another trip. There'll be zero tourist stuff if you want to be successful, or after. Yeah. One of my business partners staying out there 3 extra days. There you go. Use those days for the tourist stuff. But during ASD.
Again, we were talking about balance, right? There should be a balance between work and life, right? We still want to feel that life. That's where we are getting this energy for us to keep going, right? But you can do that already after you've done already some sort of like amount of work done, and then treat yourself. Why not? Really, we're not machines. But again, through all these people, you're gonna be getting something. And plus, what naturally started to happen, because we were talking about also like different sales channels, right? And different like revenue channels, right? So what happens like and again, there are like all this like business owners, they are same sort of like people like you, right? They're also having questions, they're also looking for solutions, they're also here to find something what's going to work for them. And when they're asking you, and they 100%, we're all talking and discussing what worked, what's not. So when they are hearing what you've got, they also like want to, okay, can you help me out? I want to get the same. So naturally, another thing starts to happen in a lot of cases, that you might already help other people to get those loads. So you're kind of like already stepping into the wholesaling a little bit. And again, that's exactly how you said, like there are so many avenues where to grow to. And that's 100% right. You want to do the pallet sales, do that. You want to do the truckload sales, do that. It's only like you feel that you want to like open up more bin stores, do that. Or you want to go into online sales more. Like but you just have to listen to yourself and feel what you're really up to. Because sometimes in this rush, we might put a lot of things on one plate, and that's going to be hard to figure out. If you do that step by step. Master one thing, then move to another thing, then another thing. Some of the things, how I'm saying, like, who knows, maybe will happen to you naturally. So right now, if anyone is asking me if I can get them the target load, I easily can. I 100% I can say through this whole years, I know every single target contract holder. I worked with lots of them. I know how their loads look like. I know what's going to be in how actually each company process them, and what's going to be in each load, how it's going to be formed, and what might work for you, what might not. And again, there are also a lot of different target programs. So if this one doesn't work for you, you want something different, like, go ahead. I can always, like, if I have an answer, I definitely gonna give it to you. And surprisingly, when our like first loads, and probably for about a year, we've been actually having we didn't buy the target GM program. We actually were buying case packs. And that's actually the game changer. We had a lot of repeats, but the thing is, like, we had a very good quality of repeats, and still, and again, that's depend on each company, how they are actually building this up, because they're getting the huge amount of like SKUs, and the way how they actually form those loads, it are also like very important for you, because how I'm saying, like, even with the repeats, we were able to make a very good profit. Then within a year, when the target already started to change the programs, we already switched to target GM, but still, we are still buying them. And again, that's gonna happen like every year. Each company is like changing the programs, and they have to reassign the contracts. So of course, that's like natural thing, but you need to also like adjust on that, you based on what the market, like how it's going, what the things are, how the programs are. You have to learn how to adjust, what to do in case of seasonal happen. Because again, Some of the loads might be very heavy on seasonal items. And what to do then? That's good if you actually if you are like, okay, let's put it this way. Maybe like if you're a wholesaler, you have an enormously huge warehouse, you have the space where to store it, that's good. But what if you are not? And the first time, like first couple of years, we didn't have like additional extra space, right, where to store it. It's like, so we technically had a little tiny space, about maybe like 1,000 square feet. We kept for the warehouse where we were processing the loads, storing the loads, like doing all those things. And that was crazy. Yeah. And I started our whatnot over there too. And my husband in the beginning was not really happy with that. He's like, that's crazy because you took all the space with your whatnot. And I'm like, what to do? We have to try it, right? We have to understand how that thing works. What kind of beast is that, right? So that's all funny. Yeah. But then, of course, we already felt that it's too tight for us. None of these like areas could be developed well when you're like kind of like in a very very tight space. You need the space, you need the inventory, you need to have this all to grow. Yeah.
All right, I gotta make sure I give a shout out to the WHSL Marketplace too,
of course,
because that's another trade show that we will be going to, and we have a bit, Liquidation Motivation Community has a big role at the trade show this year. So remember, every year, ASD and WHSL, you got to go to both of these. They're super important for all your marketing. So all right, let's we have been going. We would go. I mean, it's so nice to interview you because I can ask a question and then you just keep going with it, which is fantastic. It makes it so much easier as an interviewer.
Exactly. You know why? Because I already feel all those needs. I know what kind of questions might be hiding behind this, and it kind of they're all related. They are like one kind of like going into another one. So that's why I'm trying to also like really give as much as I can right now and touch every single area through whole this conversation and actually describe that as much as possible. Yeah,
and I think if most liquidators will help out the new people coming into this business, they'll do their best to help them out and give them advice. Now, don't get me wrong, if you're opening across the street, I don't know if somebody's going to offer you help. But if you're 5 states away, I mean, it doesn't make any, all we want to do is help the community grow. But as far as growing, Yana, where do you see the future of your business?
No, again, it's a good question. Good question, because when we were talking with my husband about the expansion, which way? Of course, at the very beginning, we were thinking, it would be great to open up another physical store. But this is actually what I feel right now. That's what I don't want to do. And don't get me wrong, I love our business. I love our store. This is our soul. This is like our second baby. That's 100% like that. But right now, also let's look at the market changes. Let's look at the changes, like even on the world arena, right? So what's happening right now? Like our attention, and actually humanity attention already is taking a lot by the social media, by online, by sales and things like that. So at this point, I feel like it's more reasonable for us to continue grow and expand towards that way. Instead of opening up another bin store, at least as of right now. Again, there are also lots of different platforms. We just like decided to choose to start with a whatnot. And again, this is actually a good thing that you brought the WHSL week, because what happened, ASD is humongous. You still need actually to know how to find those people, because like it's a huge space. You don't know who's where, and plus you need to kind of like somehow to get connected and find those people. So kind of like narrow this whole amount of people to the size of your like liquidation field audience. And that's what the WHSL exactly did. And I think that's a very good, that you are not spreading out your attention in a lot of ways. You are actually focusing, you know that everyone who you need, they are there. So and this is actually what happened. Yeah, first time we attended, the first time they did it, and the very first, and I went to attend the first meetup right away, and that's where we had a chance to meet up the Whatnot company, the Hybit, and all these like different platforms and apps, right? And app represented and platform representatives, and like to get to know these apps a little bit. Yeah, but then we like, again, I was thinking and digesting all this information, and from that time I already started to think, okay, I want to try auctions. I really want to try, but kind of like naturally happened that I knew about Whatnot right already by that time. I just like a few things what was happening. That was a summer. So we actually figured out about that in the end of the spring, right? Then the summer started again. Some dryness on the market. You don't see the perfect load to start with for the Whatnot, because again, Whatnot is a different story. Whatever, and again, this is actually all sides of the liquidation, because they are all operating differently, and whatever works for the bin store doesn't really work for the ideally work or my partially work for the auctions, right? And that's kind of like when the game started. So it took us like also time to get the right load, plus how I'm saying, like, you don't know like how it's gonna go, so we started little by little. And again, I was thinking about the Hybit as well, right? But I just like received the notification one day from the platform, because I already was there, right? And I'm like, why not to check it? Like, let's see what kind of notification is that. And you know what? And after that, I've seen actually one of our colleagues over there, and I'm like, shoot, he's already over there. What a nice thing. Like, what he's doing great, and he really was doing great. And I'm like, wow. So I actually decided, like, let's find out a little more. Again, I had all those contacts. I started to reach out to them. We got approved within like a couple of hours. And let's say I called them first time, that was a Wednesday. On Friday, we already in a few days we already had a first show. The also one thing, you know, if you starting something, you just need to make sure that you are able to do that consistently. That's another key thing, you know, because if you're kind of like again, learning that, want to see how is that, that's okay to do as well, but you better actually to jump over there and dive as deep as possible ASAP, because that's how the platform works too. And again, algorithms are changing all the time, but the quicker you are actually acting, the and more actively acting, we are talking about the consistency, then like the better results you're gonna see. So yeah, it also took us a while again to learn, to see how that works, to find out, okay, what needs to be done differently. Of course, it just like opened up the huge opportunity for us when finally we separated Whatnot from the store. I mean, the space. We're talking about space. So we actually, we got a warehouse. We separated Whatnot, and it gave us. We separated our Whatnot studio from there, and we actually got a definitely. We were able finally to kind of like open up a little bit different like page, you know, open up a different chapter for us and see how it's possible to grow in this way. And of course, again, it's same like in a with the bin stores, right? We are learning like every single day. We are looking at our colleagues. We are talking to them. We are asking how they do that. What can you do better? How do you actually can do better? What kind of strategies you can try? What kind of like what type of shows you can try, what's gonna work for you. And it's also like we're changing, as soon as I was feeling like, oh, seems like these kind of shows work well for us, let's continue kind of like in these category, right? Then something was changing. This is actually like also another live organism which is changing a lot based on a audience decisions. Like that's actually, yeah, kind of like decision maker platform. That's kind of like that. And also very, very dependable on a audience as well. So so yeah, that's kind of like that. And again, we I'm 100% seeing ourselves like going more towards that way. And again, maybe, who knows, right? Maybe like another channel, or you see another channel open up is a little bit easier than to open up another store. Why?
Yeah.
Because you already have a team, right? You already have the main team, the core team, right? To hire extra people and to train them, it's going to be already a little bit easier because you already have this core people. With a different location, you need to get another team. It's not that easy sometimes too. It takes some time. You don't know how much time would that get, and you need to be back and forth too. Let's actually be honest, right? We all want to create that type of business where we can like when the business can work without us, right? We want to get to the point when we own the business, not business owns us. But we sometimes like playing this game too. Of course, we understand. We all understand that, it's kind of like, but we cannot just step out completely at some certain moments, especially when you're launching the new thing. I'm positive right now you are actually, all your time is in your new bin store. I'm like 80-90%, right? So you see, and it doesn't happen right away, so it takes time. So yeah, I'm like more like feeling that easier to do something in online for us, and expand more in online than in something else. And again, about the wholesale, it's always been there, like I'm still like, if anyone needs loads, I'm like selling them, all this like target programs which I tried and which I can definitely share with. The thing is, like, I never sell anyone anything until I haven't tried that. I think that's the best way. And for you to be the business owner, like the bargain owner, that's even more beneficial because you 100% know how the inner work is going, right? And what kind of like needs need to be met, that's why what kind of loads might work, what might not work, like how is actually depend on your audience, what's get, what not to get. And of course, like I'm always like honestly sharing and showing, because when I have that at my warehouse, I'm seeing that with my eyes. I'm like more than happy to share like with you, and do the FaceTime, and show you how the load look like. We can dive a little bit deeper there, and that's it, and you're gonna see how it works. Plus, I'm seriously like, I'm posting so much content weekly showing how the things look like, that there is like seriously no way not to understand how this load look like, because it's all over there. It's like it's all on a plate. You just like have to take a look. That's it, and I think that's the best. That's the best. I think we actually have a benefit, right? Definitely we do. Being a business owners, we are seeing those loads and we can give a better advices and better suggestions if needed, right? So yeah, that's what it is.
All right, let's wrap this up here. But my final question will be: somebody new comes to you and says, "Yana, I'm thinking about opening a bin store."
Yeah.
What advice would you give them?
Definitely do a lot of research. Definitely try to get like a lot of contacts for yourself, that where to get the good inventory. And also kind of like don't forget that the things in reality might work differently. So these kind of like put your expectations, I'm not actually saying like put them away. Of course, we all have like maybe some expectations, right? But try to be more realistic, right? It might not work out right away in the way how you expect, right? It might work out later, but at the beginning, be aware that anything could happen. Yeah, and we're not protected from that. But the solution is always there. And yeah, do a lot of research. And also one more thing, do your store advertisement as early as possible, really as early as possible. You see, our mistake also was not kind of like mistake. You see, we at the beginning we had a different store model. However, we noticed later that some bin stores, before the grand opening, they are doing sometimes like the advertisement half a year ahead, and everyone is already expecting for them, so do that as early as possible, really. That's gonna help you out, yeah, for sure.
There you go. All right, let's snap our fingers and get Esteban back on here. Let's see if we got any questions from the community. Esteban, wow, that's an hour and a half. That flew by fast.
100%.
We got something from Mike and Trish from Flip and Finds, Go Big Resale. The FC are super clean and in sealed mystery boxes that we get, and we love those too. Make sure yours are on process, because if they are not sealed in boxes, then they probably are.
Yeah, Mike and Trish are referring to. I have an FC subcontract, but it's 7 foot tall, filled with mystery boxes, and they shove stuff on the side. So he's, I'm fortunate to have such a great FC contract, because man, I order them from other places and it's 2/3 full, not even 2/3, 1/3 full and below the window. And I just get so disappointed, but you can never get enough, right? You can never get enough to help everybody out.
Exactly.
Whoa, that's a lot of reading there.
This one was an email that came through. I just kind of shortened it. Hey, Tom, I came across this article that I found, and it's pretty informative. Thought I would share it with you or with the Liquidation Motivation Nation. I'll take that screen off. I do follow your channel. Thanks for being so willing to share. Every week, I'm amazed by the information and knowledge I gain from you and your weekly guests. I've really learned a lot. I really like the interview with Matt from Bilo and Daniel of Ralos Wholesale. Hopefully, I get to meet you guys at ASD or at WHSL. Thanks again for teaching us. And I'll put the link that she's referring to in the show notes.
Gene, that's what we do, Gene. It's all about, I mean, Yana touched on it earlier. It's all about marketing, right? And we chose the avenue of doing videos to market our business. And, it's 7 years that we've been doing videos, and it's really has paid off for us lately. And, I recommend anybody, if you're going to be in business, you need to be a marketer. You got to promote yourself all the time. If you can't do that, you probably shouldn't be in business, because you got to tell people who you are, what you do, and where you're at. So 100%. 100%,
you're a face of your brand. That's the one thing. And and I'm agreed. Like, Tom, you're doing a great thing. Maybe here and there, all of us are thinking sometimes, how cool is that, right? But it's actually great that you started, and you're really overviewing a lot of actually different sides of the liquidation world. And I think it's very, very helpful for others who don't know anything. It's like very helpful too, for sure.
Absolutely.
We have one last one that came through email as well. And this one, Yana can probably answer. Mm-hmm. Hello. I hope this email finds you well, Tom. I have a question about ASD, and it's she wants to. Oh, I don't know if it's she or he. She has a bin store, and if yes, what's the best day to go on when it comes to ASD Market Week?
I probably would say, if it's your first time, I would actually plan that for the whole weekend and for all those days when they're actually having those like expos, because even those like 3-4 days, which seems like at the beginning a lot, believe me, sometimes like in the moment you feel that it's not a lot. Maybe I haven't talked to enough people, or maybe didn't cover up like all of the topics and questions what I had. So I would actually say like go for the old days, at least for the beginning. Then when you already figured out how the things goes, like then you can definitely switch it and choose for yourself. But also again, if we are talking about the ASD, and I was also covering this up, you can get very confused at the beginning, right? That's humongous. You need to find those people. Try to maybe do some research before the show, at least to see where are those people are meeting at, right? But another one which is like more narrow, that's definitely going to be HSL, yeah. Wholesale week in Kentucky. It's not that big, but it's like more narrow, and you 100% gonna meet all those people in a one place, which are definitely related to liquidation world. You don't need to go and look for them, how it happens sometimes at the ASD at the very, very beginning when you're just like fresh and new, right?
Yeah, ASD did say that they have an app that we can download, so this way we can easily find the boost that we're looking for. And now this year, everything is going to be all on one floor. We don't have to go scrambling around looking for it. So,
now this is actually not a great thing what they did, because when the first years, like when I just like started to attend, they didn't have the app yet. And such a cool thing to have like everything in your phone. You can actually even choose the tags. By the way, by the tags, you can find exactly those people who you need. So then you're kind of like, you're focused. You're not refocused. You're focused. You know what you are looking for. So that is very helpful too. I think each meetup like that, each expo, each conference should have it. It's like, it's really helpful. Otherwise, you're like, absolutely disorganized.
Yeah, if I could just add in here that I like to, let's say ASD starts on a Monday, which I'm not really sure what day it does. I like to show up in Vegas Sunday before 5 o'clock, because normally the night before the show there's going to be a meetup. So if you get there the day before, I don't like to get there early. I don't want to be there all day, but I want to make sure I'm there before the meetup. So I get there about 5 o'clock, and meetups are normally at 7. So I get to hit that first meetup. But then the last day of the show, there's never anything after the show. So you can cut out early that day. So anybody planning their trip, get there the day before, so you can be nice and rested for the opening, and you can go to that meetup. And if you can go to that meetup and meet a couple people that'll show you around, that'll introduce you to people, that'll hold your hand while you're at your first show, that's, or you can reach out to us. You can reach out to Yana and me, and we can we can tell you, give you our best advice. So
we don't mind growing our entourage.
That's right.
You are already doing that, yeah.
We got another question that came through. Just started a pallet house. What would you recommend to start out with? Try DG and Costaway. I never heard of Costaway. Should
never either.
Only sold about 22 out of 70 pallets, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what you're selling them for, but like we sell our Dollar General pallets down here for $400 a piece. We put them on Marketplace and we promote the ad, and we do pretty well selling them. Dollar General can be a cheaper load to buy. So, if you're keeping your cost, your price down, remember, you want to sell in volume. You don't want to make a lot of money. You make sure you're only making $100, $150 a pallet when you're selling pallets, and work on volume, because then you're passing the value off to your customer. And if your customer can make money, he'll come back and buy more. And that's the whole game here, because you can pretty much get those kind of loads are pretty commonly available. So if you can sell a load out every week, and you're making $3,600 a week by making $150 a pallet, now you're making a great living. So focus on keeping your price down, and you have to market it. You have to promote it on Marketplace. Don't put it on Marketplace. Just promote it on and it doesn't have to be a lot. It can be $5 a day or something to that effect, but you have to promote it.
Yeah. A quick question, Tom. Since you mentioned Dollar General, do you rebuild them for the pallet sale?
No, I don't touch them.
Okay.
I don't touch anything. Anything that I sell. I get accused of it all the time, but I don't touch anything that I sell.
Also, one more thing, what I actually want to bring attention to, when you're selling by pallets, you just need to make sure that like the you're setting up the fixed rate, right, per pallet. So you want to make sure that the value of each pallet will meet that price range, because like what might happen, let's say 100% I can tell about the programs what I actually buy, right? All the target, they are not ideal to sell by pallets as they are. You definitely need to rebuild them, because the value is so different. And I'm telling you, one pallet could be more filled with the household products, right? Another one with electronics, and you still paying like for a second 600-700. But in a case when you're getting electronics, I'm positive you're happy, right? But in case if like you got a bunch of like great bedding, even if it's a great bedding, you are not going to be satisfied. That's 100%. So like be careful on that.
Yeah, you're right.
Build them up.
You're right. Every load is different. If you're getting an NFC load, you can set the price. But yeah, the target loads, I know one pallet you'll get a chair and a blow up something and like little things on the side. And then the next one you're going to get VR headsets in. It's like, oh my, they're so different. So no, I understand what you're saying on that. You're 100% right.
So
some loads you have to do that.
Need to process them. If you want to sell them, my point is like just process them to make sure that the value is in each pallet. Right value.
Nice. We kind of do that with the mystery boxes if we ever create a mystery box to guarantee that there's that actual value or reaches that financial value.
Oh yeah.
And
they're such a mystery.
We have one last comment. This comes from Instagram. For some reason, Instagram doesn't feed StreamYard, so I had to grab it from Instagram and brought it over here. This comment: great conversation. ASD is a great show. If you coming to work there, not having fun. So
I think they're saying what we're saying.
Yeah. Same thing.
I think we literally get done about 10 at night. Normally we go like down to Old Vegas or go to some bar or some casino for maybe an hour, 2 hours, after about 10 at night. But it's all work. It's all work the rest of the time. It's all networking. I don't want to say it's work, because networking to me is fun. Talking to people and, trying to find, the next load, the next deal, the next contract holder, the next seller, the next buyer. That's what the whole game is about. So.
Yeah. David, leave your business name in the comments so we can check it out.
Sure.
David, we'll definitely be in Kentucky. We have a big role there at the WHSL show, so we're pretty excited about that. That's going to be all announced.
Not for the first time, Tom. Right? Let's be clear. Great speech you had last year, and I'm sure like something similar going to happen this year as well.
Yeah, we're going to make it fun.
Very excited.
We're going to make it fun. We're putting some extra thought into this.
We know that you like to make it fun. Yeah, we know. We all know that. We've been actually we remember all those like behind the scene things. They're all fun, really. That's the memories. Yeah, good memories we'll have after these meetups for sure.
All right, Yana. So thank you very much for coming on Liquidation Motivation. Tell the people out there, how do they get a hold of you if they want to reach out to you?
So yeah, guys, really, we are all absolutely on all social media. We're on the Facebook, we are on the Instagram, we are on a TikTok, we are on the YouTube channel. We have a YouTube channel as well. So as well, we are on a Whatnot, of course, if you decide to shop with us online, right? You can even like you see on the bottom of the screen, you see bestbargainsbin.com. That's our website where you can find all this information if you're a little bit confused, right, where to get it. So yeah, any of this or just like the website, and it will bring you all the way to all our social medias. Yeah. So yeah. And I'm here for you. If you have any questions, if you need any suggestions, like about any like, especially any target programs, more than happy.
If you need target loads, guys, reach out to Yana. She's cornered the market there.
I'm here for you guys for sure. Yeah,
right, and thank you so much.
Thank you so much, guys. Really, as always, pleasure to meet up with you, even in this kind of like mode. That's our first experience, but yeah, thank you so much for having me today. That was a great, interesting conversation for sure. Thanks a lot, and see you all soon. See you all soon.
All right, Tom, Esteban, Yana, signing out, guys. Liquidation Motivation. Now go out there and make some money.
Exactly, and succeed, definitely. Find